Hi, Stoughton. This is Steve Cavey, Select Board member for the town of Stoughton, also the Vice Chair of the Select Board. Today is Tuesday, January 19, 2021. And I wanted to give you guys an update on the meeting that we had tonight before I get started. I want to remind you all that down in the description below you can find a couple of links that might help you out. There's a link to the agenda and the minutes when they become available. There's also a link to the full meeting that is that's the SMAC link or the Stoughton TV link. There's also a link to an anonymous suggestion box. If there's anything you want to tell me, share with me, but you want to keep your identity to yourself, I respect that. Feel free to drop me a comment in there, and I won't be able to tell who sent it. But you can also contact me by calling me or emailing me. My phone and email are on the town website. So let's get down to business. Started off with citizens' comments. We had none. Select board comments. There were none. Essentially, I had a comment just about Martin Luther King Day. If you were interested at the beginning of the meeting, feel free to check that out. Town manager comments. Not too many. I would just err on the side of saying check them out for yourself. I don't want to misquote Dr. Grimm. I think the one that did stand out is that we are seeing progress with the Malcolm Parson building, that the town planner is working through sort of the next step of this at the request of the planning board, and we have good reason to believe that we are not that far away from shovels in the ground, probably by March. But we've heard that before, so we're going to keep on pushing, keep our foot on the gas, and try to get this across the finish line. So next up was a public hearing. This was an application for a common victualer's license for J&R Restaurant doing business as Zachary's. So you can check that out. It was very brief. It was a public hearing, but there was no input from the public. Everything was in order, and so we were able to move through that quickly with unanimous vote to move this to provide them the license they need. Next were two presentations done by the town engineer and the director of development services, Mark Tisdale. The first was on the Park Street sewer betterments. It was a proposed article for the 2021 annual town meeting, and the second was a EPA MS4 stormwater bylaw, which is also a proposed article for the 2021 town meeting. The eighth item on the agenda was the town clerk appointment. There were no updates. As you guys know, I've recused myself from discussions about this particular role, but I was able to, just share with you the fact that there's no updates on that. The next item, number 9, this was the meat and potatoes of the meeting. It was so today we had to vote on the town budget, and we had to move forward any articles, and then we that are ready to be inserted into the warrant. So I'll start with the warrant articles. We had 2 petitioned articles. They go into the warrant no matter what. There's no input that we can provide that's going to prevent that. So they're going to be inserted. Case closed. So we voted to have those move forward. Sorry, there's a light up there. I'm just trying to get it all set up. So we voted to move those forward, insert them in the warrant, and then move them along to Finance Committee, Rules Committee, Town Moderator, so they can start doing the work on them. The biggest part of our discussion for the night, one that is probably going to be the most relevant, is really the budget. Both the schools, school committee, and the superintendent of schools have done an exhaustive job trimming their budget as much as they possibly could. On the municipal side of our government, we had the same. That the town manager has trimmed the budget with the help of her staff to just to the bare bones, and so we still find ourselves with a $140,000 shortfall and so we were unable to balance it. This is our last chance to balance that budget. To make a long story short, we did decide to move this along to the Finance Committee unbalanced. And that's something that I haven't done ever before. So we got to walk you through our thought process. This wasn't by unanimous decision of the board. So the first item is that the budgets themselves are, the issue that we're having. We cut as far as we possibly could, given our revenue estimates, and our estimates have always been very conservative. There's a lot of money that will be coming in, and we know it's going to be more than what we've estimated, and so we suspect that shortfall will essentially evaporate quickly, given past practices and things we're hearing from our own representatives. That will probably evaporate. So any changes we made to cut the budget any deeper, we are at a point where it would have to fall into a couple of places that will cause more harm than good. One is we can start cutting personnel, or essentially putting that on the block, saying that we will lay off 3 public safety workers or DPW workers or whatever it might be, knowing that eventually this money will come in, and we can get those positions back, so that we will never actually have to make that decision and lay anybody off. That is extremely stressful for our town employees who have worked through a pandemic to provide the services to the best of their ability. And so none of us thought that was fair to them, that we propose these cuts that we know are imaginary, have them sweating it out, wondering if they're going to be laid off after the amount of work that they've put in. And so rather than putting it on them to get stressed out and worry about their jobs, we've instead chosen that this is something that we're willing to take the hit for. I'll speak for myself at the very least, but the board seemed to agree that if there's concern about presenting an unbalanced budget, and it's $140,000. That is a lot of money in our day-to-day lives. For the town budget, though, that represents 0.13% of the entire budget. It's so small that when we're talking like rounding error, sort of small, that it does not really pose an actual threat to the community. So this is not ideal. It's not something I like to do. I haven't done it before, but the alternative, I just can't. I can't. My conscience won't allow me to do that to our town employees. The alternative, another alternative, which has happened in the past, is that you essentially put whatever the shortfall is in the school department, in the school budget. You say that we're going to reduce the school budget by $140,000. Once again, knowing that it's not real, and eventually it will all work out, and everyone will get their budgets back. Also, not fair to the school department, they've been working very hard to provide services to us, our families, our kids, community in large, and to have that, we basically just move the problem because their budgets are just as tight, and so they're the ones who are going to have to start talking about laying off teachers. We're just all we're talking now about is these layoffs of people who have bent over backwards to provide services to our community. So we can't really do that to the teachers. We can't do it to the school committee who've worked with us to make these budgets as realistic as we possibly could. We can't do it to the superintendent of schools, Dr. Marcus, who has also been genuine, has worked very hard, and has been diligent in making cuts that are painful for his operations, and has gone as deep to the bone as he could on these cuts. So we can't just hand him and the school committee $140,000 problem to solve. So once again, that is my reasoning. Sorry for going into such detail, but this is not really ideal. But I think this was at least in moral sense, was really the only decision that we could justify and feel okay with at the end of the day. Be able to sleep pretty well knowing that the people are not going to be worried about their jobs, and that it does put a pressure on us to solve the problem, and we will absolutely will. In addition to sending an unbalanced budget, though, we also intend, and we voted, to send a note to the Finance Committee to let them know that we will be updating this as soon as some actual numbers come in from the state, and we expect those within the next couple of weeks. So we will continue to update this, which is actually common practice anyway. As the numbers come in, things get updated. We will provide them with these updates as these numbers become actual, these estimates become actual. We also ran this by the town accountant, and I am very thankful to say that he agreed with this approach, and he thought this was probably that he endorses this approach. I don't want to misquote him, so he spoke during the meeting. He had some additional comments, and he just did seem to support this idea. So that was reassuring as well, because I do have a lot of faith in Mr. Rowe's judgment on these things. So that was the bulk of the meeting. We also had a consent agenda. It's kind of a long one, but I want to read this out because there's item B especially. But we had payroll and bill warrants and any other documents to come before the meeting. Item B, which I think is important to bring up, is that we also approved the donations to the fire department. The following donations: $5,000 was donated to the fire department from the Four Heroes Golf Tournament, which was it says on the agenda that it was sponsored by Cedar Hills. It wasn't. It was just the facility that they used was at Cedar Hills. So Cedar Hills Golf Course hosted at the Cedar Hills Golf Course. There's also a $200 donation from Mr. Judd at 261 Central Street. Sorry, Mr. Judd. I apologize. Mr. Judd at 261 Central Street. And then item 3, another $100 donation from Joan D'Amato and family. These are all extremely generous donations for our fire department. I just wanted to single them out for thanks. So then we have item C, approve invoice number 6 for Stoughton Housing Authority in the amount of $19,059 for disbursement to be made from the CPA housing account under the COVID-19 Emergency Housing Fund program. Item D, to approve and approval and authorization of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs Division of Conservation Services, Parkland Acquisitions and Renovations for Community Program Agreement. And then item E, approve open session minutes of January 5th, 2021. And so the last part that we had here was executive session. It was very brief. Item A, consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A6, which is 31 Porter Street, Post Office site. And item B, approval of executive session minutes from December 29th, 2020. That was the entire meeting. As I mentioned, the main part was probably the most significant item was the budget. I think we made the right choice here, and I personally took a lot of convincing. It's not something I wanted to do, but I didn't want to not do it only because I didn't want to have to admit that I did it. Right? That the fact that we had not sent a unbalanced budget and had a good record on that, sort of breaking our streak, would have to be offset with um, you know, panicking people who are just working as hard as they possibly can to support our community. So hopefully we made the right choice here. I feel good about it. I feel free to give me a call, email, or send an anonymous suggestion. The link below to let me know if you agree or disagree. But I'm going to leave you guys now, but I just want to thank you again for offering me the opportunity to be a select board member. It's really it's difficult. These kinds of decisions are difficult, but it's you know, the experience is really not like anything else. Like again, it's like impossible to explain. It's just an incredible honor to be given this opportunity, to be trusted by the community to serve this role. So I really appreciate it. The seat belongs to you guys, and entrusting me with it has really been an honor. Be well, take care, stay healthy, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.